You're violating subsection 14R2, he snapped. Unregulated art. Pay the fine or we take you to court. Sarah didn't blink. There's no HOA. I was on the board. We dissolved it in 2018. Sunglasses loomed closer, his shadow swallowing her and Lily. You really want to fight this in court, sweetheart? His breath smelled like cheap coffee. My grip tightened on the grill, the heat biting into my palm. Then Buzzcut turned to Lily, crouching, not to be kind, but to intimidate. Maybe if you talk like a normal kid, people would listen. Another way of saying shut up and obey. Imagine this. A peaceful neighborhood suddenly disrupted by individuals posing as homeowners association officers, wielding authority they don't actually possess. This unsettling scenario unfolded recently, drawing attention not just for its bizarre nature, but also for the emotional toll it took on a young girl who was targeted due to her speech impediment, a lisp. The daughter, already facing challenges with her speech, found herself in a situation that no child should ever have to endure. The impact of this incident rippled through the family, highlighting the vulnerability of those who are different and the urgent need for community support. It was one of those Saturdays that felt like a gift, the kind where the sun bathes everything in gold. The air smells of fresh-cut grass, and time seems to pause just for you. Our front yard buzzed softly with that quiet suburban promise. Birds chirped in the distance. The neighbor's wind chime sang its lazy tune. Somewhere a lawnmower droned, muffled by distance and peace. Lily, my 6-year-old daughter, knelt on the driveway, her knees dusted with pastel chalk. She was lost in her masterpiece, a giant blue dinosaur she called a Twix. Her sweet lisp transformed the word into something magical. Every few strokes she'd look up, her ponytail bouncing, waving her yellow chalk like a wand and proclaiming, "He's got sparkly claws." Her voice was soft, melodic, full of that innocent conviction that only childhood can conjure. It made my heart ache with love. I stood at the grill flipping burgers. The scent mingled with the earthy smell of the freshly watered garden and the distant buzz of cicadas. Sarah, my wife, was down by the rose bushes, her wide-brimmed hat shading her face as she snipped away dead leaves with gentle precision. She moved with the patience and care she reserved for fragile things. Our house, our yard, it all felt like a bubble of safety, something sacred and untouched. Then the SUV pulled up. It wasn't fast. It crept in, unnervingly slow, its matte black body soaking in the sunlight without reflecting it. There were no license plates, no front, no rear. The windows were so dark they swallowed the day. Its engine hummed low, too loud for a regular vehicle, slicing through the calm like a blade. My gut twisted. Sarah froze mid-spray, her eyes narrowing beneath her hat. The SUV idled in front of our house like a predator sniffing the edge of the woods. Two men stepped out in sync. They looked wrong, like actors in a bad procedural drama. Mid-30s, both dressed in black cargo pants and oversized tactical vests. The taller one wore mirrored sunglasses and a permanent jaw clench. His partner had a tight buzz cut and clutched a clipboard like it gave him authority. Crooked yellow letters on their vests spelled out HOA enforcement. They didn't glance at me. They didn't greet Sarah. They zeroed in on Lily. "Hey, kid," Buzzcut barked, striding toward her with a sneer. His voice dripped condescension. "Sidewalk art is against HOA rules. Subsection 14.2. Lily blinked up at him, clutching her chalk. "It's not a sidewalk," she said softly. "It's our driveway." Buzzcut didn't laugh. He twisted her words, mimicking her lisp. "Dwave, that's cute." His smirk oozed malice. A primal surge of heat climbed my spine. I stepped forward, spatula clenched tight, but Sarah was faster. She straightened, wiped her hands on her apron, and approached with the calm fury of a mother who had just watched her child be humiliated. "Who are you?" she asked. Her voice was even, but every syllable cut like glass. Sunglasses didn't answer. He bent over Lily's artwork and with one deliberate motion brought his boot down. He ground her blue and yellow lines into dust. Lily gasped. Her small shoulders shrank. Her eyes went wide with confusion, which morphed into shame. "Don't touch her art," Sarah said, low and lethal. Buzzcut waved his clipboard. "Property defacement, $200 fine. Clean it by tonight." I stepped forward. "There's no HOA here. We opted out years ago. It's documented." Buzzcut's grin widened. "Rules change. We're enforcement." Sarah's eyes narrowed at their vests. "Where's your badge?" Sunglasses scoffed. "Don't need one." Lily backed away, clutching her chalk box, the remains of her Twix dinosaur barely glinting in the sun. The shimmer of the sparkly claws looked like crushed glass now. Sarah stepped between the men and Lily. "You're not cops. You're not even HOA. You're trespassing. Get off our property." Buzzcut's smirk turned predatory. "That a threat, lady?" Sarah slipped off her gardening glove and let it fall. "It's a promise." Neither man moved. Buzzcut raised his clipboard like a weapon. "Violating subsection 14R2, he barked. "Unregulated art. Pay up or face court." "There's no HOA, Sarah said again. "I was on the board. We dissolved it in 2018. This is public record." Sunglasses stepped in, closer than necessary. His shadow fell across her and Lily. "You want to argue in court, sweetheart?" His breath reeked of stale coffee. I gripped the grill's edge, the metal searing into my palm. I didn't care. Buzzcut crouched to Lily's level, not kindly but to intimidate. "Maybe if you talk like a normal kid, people would listen." Lily froze. Her hands clutched the chalk box tighter. Her lip trembled, the sparkle in her eyes, her creation, her joy, it all crumpled. What started as a casual discussion about neighborhood rules escalated into a cruel mockery of her speech. The laughter and jeering from these imposters pierced through the air, leaving the young girl feeling humiliated and vulnerable. The emotional impact on the daughter was immediate and profound. She had always struggled with her lisp, and the mocking words of these imposters struck a deep chord, amplifying her insecurities. Tears welled up in her eyes as she felt the weight of their ridicule. The family, witnessing their daughter's distress, felt a surge of anger and helplessness. They were not just confronting two imposters. They were battling the very real effects of bullying that threatened to shatter their daughter's self-esteem. The mother, fueled by a fierce protective instinct, felt a surge of adrenaline as she witnessed the pain in her child's eyes. She could no longer stand by and watch the humiliation unfold. With a determined stride, she stepped forward, her voice steady but firm, demanding that the fake HOA cops cease their cruel taunts. Sarah's jaw tightened. Her eyes blazed. "Say that again." Buzzcut blinked. "What?" "Say it. To her face. Now." Sunglasses tried to cut in. "Lady, we don't have—" "You had time to mock a child," Sarah snapped. Buzzcut chuckled, his voice strained. "Not my fault the kid talks funny." That was it. Sarah removed her hat and folded it neatly, handing it to Lily. "Take her inside," she told me, her tone cool but thunderous underneath. I stepped toward Lily. Sunglasses' hand drifted to his belt. "Maybe a radio. Maybe a bluff." "Did I do bad, Daddy?" Lily whispered. My throat burned. "No, baby. You made something beautiful." I scooped her up, her chalk box pressing into my back. Behind me, Sarah spoke. "You insulted my daughter. You're trespassing. Leave." Buzzcut took one step forward. "Back off, or you'll regret it." Sarah didn't move. She stepped forward instead, her presence now a wall. At the door, I turned in time to see it happen. A sharp, clean crack, Buzzcut's knees buckled. His body crumpled to the driveway. Sarah's elbow hung in the air, perfect in its arc. Blood poured from his shattered nose. His clipboard skittered across the pavement, stopping next to the ruined chalk dinosaur. Sunglasses lunged. His hand went to his belt. Sarah was faster. She caught his wrist mid-air, twisted it with a sickening pop, and slammed him against the SUV. The metal groaned. He let out a strangled cry. She pinned him like a predator pinning prey. She didn't scream. She didn't hesitate. She moved with precision, with purpose, with the cold justice of a mother protecting her cub. Lily buried her face in my shirt. "Mommy's mad," she whispered. She was right. Neighbors poured out. Phones rose. Voices shouted. She dropped him. "Call the cops," Old Man Harold muttered. "Got it all," as he filmed from behind his screen door. By the time the sirens wailed, Sarah was seated on the steps, hands clasped, calm and unshaken. Buzzcut groaned on the driveway, blood pooling under his jaw brace of a face. Sunglasses whimpered against the SUV, wrist dangling at an odd angle. Two officers arrived, one grizzled, one fresh-faced. They took one look at the scene and approached Sarah. "Ma'am," the older one said, "explain." Sarah rose. "They impersonated HOA officers, mocked my daughter's speech, destroyed her drawing, and reached for something on their belts. My response was proportionate." Harold stepped forward. "I've got it all on video. They started it." The crowd nodded, a silent jury. The officers checked IDs. No badges, fake HOA, cards, pre-printed citations. The SUV was full of clipboards, cheap radios, and knockoff gear, a cosplay of authority. "This is nonsense," the grizzled officer muttered, holding up a citation for improper lawn texture. Both men were cuffed, loaded into ambulances, and later charged with impersonation, harassment, trespassing, and child endangerment. Inside, Lily clutched her chalk box. "They said I talk weird." I pulled her close. "You're brave and perfect." The story didn't die down. In the wake of the confrontation, the consequences rippled through the community, affecting both the family and the fake HOA cops in profound ways. The imposters, once confident in their ability to intimidate, now face serious repercussions for their actions. Local authorities were alerted to the incident, leading to an investigation into their fraudulent claims of authority. Legal action was taken against them for harassment and impersonation, serving as a stark reminder that bullying and deceit would not go unpunished. The community rallied around the family, condemning the actions of the fake officers and reinforcing the importance of standing up against such behavior. By Monday, news broke that the SUV was stolen. The men were part of a scam ring hitting 3 counties, shaking down elderly homeowners, single parents, anyone vulnerable, but not us, not Sarah. For the family, the aftermath of the confrontation brought a sense of empowerment and unity that they had never experienced before. The video went viral. "Fake HOA bullies kid. Mom ends it." The caption read. Sarah became a symbol. The elbow trended. News anchors called her a suburban superhero. Artists responded. A muralist painted Lily's dinosaur on a public park wall, a blue TWX with boxing gloves. Below it, "Stand tall. Speak proud." Lily began raising her hand in class. Her lisp wasn't a shield anymore. It was a badge. They had faced a daunting challenge together and emerged victorious, their bond strengthened by the ordeal. The daughter, once filled with insecurity due to her lisp, began to regain her confidence, buoyed by the unwavering support of her parents. They celebrated their resilience, recognizing that they had not only defended their daughter but had also set an example for others in the community. In court, the imposters sat broken, buzz cut in a jaw brace, sunglasses wrist in a cast. The prosecution was brutal. Sarah testified, eyes steady. "When a man mocks a child's voice," she said, He doesn't deserve mine. He deserves a message. At the end, Lily handed the judge a new drawing, a caped dinosaur standing on a clipboard. A banner beneath it read, "No bullies." The judge smiled. "This says it all. 5 years, no parole." Outside, reporters swarmed. Sarah held Lily's hand. "Not the elbow," she said quietly. "The mom." And the legend grew, not of violence but of clarity, of a boundary drawn in chalk and blood. A mother who would not back down, a child who found her voice, and a warning: cross the wrong family and you'll meet justice, swift, sharp, and wrapped in gardening gloves. This is more than just a tale of a family in distress. It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in protecting those who may not have the strength to defend themselves. It's easy to feel powerless in the face of such incidents, but together, we can foster a culture of courage and compassion. If you found this story impactful, we encourage you to engage with our content. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories and discussions about important social issues. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family to spread awareness. Thank you for watching Work Story and see you in the next one.